the Extension Agriculture Institute, your connection to the latest agriculture and horticulture research from the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Today we're going to talk about some of the options that you have as a small-scale diversified vegetable grower for introducing cover crops into your rotation. Cover crops have a lot of benefits. They're beneficial to the soil. They really keep a lot of life in the soil. They help with nutrient cycling. They help keep the soil in place, reducing erosion from the wind and from the rain. They can be really great for pollinators if you have flowering cover crops. They can fix nitrogen and really add a lot to the health and fertility of your soil. It's worth thinking about what the main benefits are that you're looking for, whether it might be reducing erosion or suppressing weeds. Maybe you're looking for a lot of different things from your cover crops. All of those questions of what benefits you're looking for will help you decide what kind of cover crop you want to plant. You want to consider what season you want to have a cover crop in your field. A lot of people will have their main growing space in cover crops over the winter because you're often not growing any vegetables at that time. And there are a number of options that you can plant fairly late into the fall that will give you really good cover through the winter and then come back in the spring. So those we would refer to as winter hardy cover crops. And a couple of examples would be winter rye. You can also plant wheat or barley. Those are great crops that will get a bit of a start in the fall, and then they'll go dormant through the winter and come back in the spring. You also might find that a winter-killed cover crop is a better option for you if you want to be able to go into your beds fairly early in the spring and not have to worry about killing a cover crop. So if you were to plant something like oats or buckwheat fairly late in the fall, you still would have enough time to get some growth on that, and that would die with the first hard frost. And then you just have the stubble and the standing material in your field to protect the soil. But when the spring comes, probably most of that biomass will have decayed away, and it's fairly easy to get into your field. Tillage radish is another good option for a winter-killed cover crop. If you plant that in the late summer, that will get some good growth on it. You get a nice big thick taproot that is then going to die back over the winter, and that taproot is going to decay in the soil and give you some nice loose organic matter that can really help break up some compaction in that first foot or so of soil. When you are considering the early spring, you might want to put a cover crop in before you get to your main summer crops. Oats and peas can be a really nice option at that time of the year. They grow quickly, they germinate in fairly cold soil, and you can get some really nice growth on those, get some weed suppression, and add some biomass. And then you can easily mow those down, till them in, or put a tarp over them to just smother them and get all of that biomass worked into the soil before your summer cover crops. Also, quite a lot of options that you could consider for the summer. If you have an area where you really want to add some good biomass to the soil, maybe you've got low organic matter and you're trying to bring that up, crops like sun hemp or sorghum Sudan grass that put on a lot of biomass, they can get like really tall, really put on a large amount of biomass, and then those can be mowed down, ideally flail mowed to really break up that biomass and incorporated in the fall. Or you can just mow them down and leave them as stubble through the fall and winter. They're going to completely die back over the winter, and then you can either no-till plant something into them in the spring or work that soil up in the spring. Something like sorghum Sudan grass is going to grow really well with a companion crop of cowpeas. There are some other warm season beans and peas that will do well with sorghum Sudan grass. And having that legume mixed in to your cover crop is going to add nitrogen, which is also going to help the biomass, the carbon from the cover crop, break down a little faster and add some nitrogen into your system. Choosing cover crops, you can obviously make your own choices of individual cover crops. You can make your own mixes. There are also some really nice mixes available through some of the local companies. It's worthwhile taking a look at different options there. They will generally have a mix that incorporates anything from 3 to 8 or more different species. And having a bit of diversity in your cover crop mix really allows you to kind of mix and match a lot of different benefits that different species offer. So, for example, you could have a cover crop mix that includes a grass that is going to have a nice dense root system that's really great at reducing erosion. Could also have something like tillage radish in it that's going to give you that nice taproot down into the soil to break up a little bit of compaction, and also a legume that's going to add some nitrogen into the system. So looking at some of those cover crop mixes can be really helpful if you're not sure what you want to try. So I'd like to talk to you about options for getting cover crops into your rotation as a small-scale diversified vegetable grower. There are a lot of different cover crop options that you might consider. And so when you're getting started thinking about cover crops, it's great to think about why you want to grow cover crops. What are they going to add to your whole system that is going to make it work better? One of the really important benefits of cover crops is just protecting the soil and making the soil healthier. Having living roots in the soil year round is great for soil microorganisms, great for the life in the soil. And also those plants that are growing are going to be adding a lot back into the soil. They're producing a lot of above ground matter that you can work into the soil to slowly increase organic matter over time. And the living roots in the soil are also providing habitat for a lot of microorganisms. If you're struggling with particular issues, like for example, weeds, having a fast growing, really dense cover crop can be a really great way to suppress weeds. Buckwheat is often used in that situation as a crop that you can sow very thickly. It grows really fast and produces a dense canopy that can shade out weeds and just outcompete weeds. It's also a very fast cycling cover crop, so you can fit it into just short spaces in your progression of vegetable crops. Other things to consider with cover crops are benefits that they bring to pollinating insects and other beneficial insects like predatory insects, especially when you have cover crops that flower. That nectar that they produce is really beneficial for pollinator insects. And predator insects often will feed on nectar as well, so it can help to increase those populations in the field. Some other benefits that cover crops can bring, cover crops, as I've already mentioned, add a lot of organic matter to the soil. If you include a legume in your mix of cover crops, that legume is going to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and add that into the soil as well. So that can really improve the nutrient status of your soil. In general, just nutrient cycling is something that cover crops are going to help with. If you are maybe planting a cover crop after a vegetable crop and you're worried about losing nitrogen after that vegetable crop just through leaching through the soil, putting in a fast-growing cover crop can act as what is sometimes called a catch crop, where that cover crop is taking up nutrients from the soil, fixing it in the plant material, capturing those nutrients, and then those nutrients can be cycled back into the soil at the end of that cover crop's life.